Welcome to The Better Life with Dr. Mary Ann Pinkston. Join Dr. Pinkston today as she teaches you how an integrative approach to health, combining holistic and contemporary medical information, can lead you to the better life. And now, here's your host, Dr. Mary Ann Pinkston.
Good morning. I am happy to be back, and I have another wonderful guest today. It's Skie Molinar, and Skie is somebody that I just recently met. I've heard of her, but I just recently met her, and I am just blown away by her repertoire of work, and she has done so much in the personal training world, nutritional coaching, and working with people to body composition and get their bodies back and eating habits and all those wonderful things. She's a full-time physical therapist at Home Health as a physical therapist assistant. So yeah, it's good. Absolutely got to draw those lines. So no problem. Physical therapist assistant, full-time right now, but her heart and her love is in the personal training industry. And you have to look her up. She has some amazing photos of what she's done for herself and other people. So welcome. I'm glad to have you aboard.
I'm glad to be here to finally meet you.
Exactly.
Yes.
So we've talked a lot, and
Yes.
I'm glad to meet you too. And,
Exactly.
And I'm hoping we can really put together a good show for people today,
Yes,
because
absolutely.
you and I both have a huge love for helping.
Passion.
Yeah, exactly, for helping people put together their eating habits and maintaining a lifestyle. We don't talk about diets; we talk about lifestyles and how to change things, and body composition, not lose weight. I've started, switching how I describe that to people. Most people want to lose weight and get the shot or the pill that fixes it and then go back to their old eating habits.
But you still have to go back to square one, nutrition and exercise.
Exactly. So
If you don't move it, you lose it.
Exactly. Exactly. That's a good old saying, right? So I want to know from you about your basic thoughts on how somebody can get started on changing their lifestyle, and describe some of the science behind it, because a lot of people want to know, why is it important to eat right? It's not just to lose weight. There's more to it than that.
Absolutely. And you've got to understand your foods. I think when you understand your foods and what they do to your body, you're more likely to eat the right way.
Right.
And that's what I try to help people understand when I first see them, what proteins do, carbs, and fats.
Right.
Fats aren't bad, because there's a lot of good fats. Your brain needs fat.
Right.
So anyway, but as we all know what proteins are, there's eggs, beef, chicken, fish, nuts. People are scared to death to eat nuts because of the fat in it, but it's good fat again. It's very confusing for people still. All I can do is help people, teach people, empower them by teaching them how to eat right and what certain foods do. And fat is not a bad thing.
Right.
Food is not bad for you.
Right. A lot of people
it's fuel.
They will cut out all of their calories or cut way back on
they
them.
think they have
think
to
they're
starve
losing it.
themselves,
Exactly.
and it works the opposite.
Right. So when people, I always say patients, and when people are cutting back on those great, nutrients that they need in their calories, I explain to people they are burning their muscle. They're not when they lose the weight. So I lost 20 pounds in a month. I'm like, you know what? There
And the
goes your
muscle
metabolism.
atrophies too. If
Exactly.
you don't use it.
Right. And that's the exercise component
You
to
can't
it.
split the exercise, the weight training, or whatever you choose to do with your meals.
Right.
I mean, it works together as a marriage. You can't split
So
the two.
when you describe, and the old saying that I used to know is that calories in, calories out theory. As long as you're putting out more calories than you take in, then you'll have weight loss and be successful. But the problem with that is you get really hungry. You start to eat your own, important parts of your body, the muscle again, which is your metabolism. And so it's not really a calories in, calories out so much, right? As, exercise is important. I tell people it's 20% probably of what you should do in the weight loss department. And the 80% is what you eat. But
80 to 90 even,
right?
yeah.
Exactly. And people really think that if I just exercise and I can eat what I want, and I tell people, no, you cannot out-eat, you cannot out-exercise a bad diet. So how do you counsel people on that?
Well, I always try to explain to them that if they don't use their muscle, they don't deplete the muscle cells, so that when you eat, you refuel it with the food you eat.
Right. Right.
So as long as you understand, like I said, your foods and what does exercise do to me, you've got your muscle cell and your fat cell. One can't turn into the other. I still hear doctors saying, "Oh, your fat will turn into muscle, and your muscle will turn." It's just impossible.
Exactly.
It's biochemically impossible, right?
Exactly.
So, what I tell people is they've got to eat at least 4 to 5 times a day, sometimes 6, because every time you eat, you burn calories when you eat. It depends on what you eat, too.
Exactly. Right.
If you eat an apple, peristalsis takes place and you're going to burn calories, right? It's going to take you longer to digest that.
More fiber than sugar. And,
yeah. So anyway, but back to the muscle cell and fat cell. So if you start your diet and if you're not eating enough food, you're going to be depleting your muscle cell and you're not going to be refueling it with food.
Right.
If you starve yourself.
Right.
And you're working out, you're going to keep some muscle, but you're going to shrink. You're going to atrophy.
Absolutely.
Or you're going to atrophy the muscle. When people just focus on losing weight, they're going to atrophy their muscle if they don't work out.
Right.
If they don't deplete that muscle cell and refuel it with food.
Right. So many times patients will tell me that, well, I want to lose a lot of weight first, then I'll start working out.
Oh, that's the worst thing.
Right?
Oh,
do
my
you hear that a
God.
lot? Because I do.
Yes.
I hear it all the time. I'm like, no,
Oh, can I
let's start
come
over.
to you when I lose 10 pounds? I'm like, no, we got to do it now.
Right. Because you'll lose it better, more efficient, maybe not tremendously faster because you're trying to lose. So the fat cell, though, never disappears.
They're always there.
They're always there.
Exactly. They only shrink and expand.
Exactly.
So if you shrink the muscle cell, guess what? The fat cell is going to have more room to expand.
Exactly.
So if you lose weight and not exercise, you're shrinking, you're atrophying the fat cell.
Right.
And the muscle cell.
cell.
And the fat cell is just sitting there. It'll shrink a little bit.
Right.
But when you start eating again, guess who's going to refuel? The fat cell, because you didn't work the muscle cell.
That's right.
So you've got to exercise. You've got to work out. You've got to deplete that muscle cell to refuel it with food.
That's right, absolutely. And so for people who aren't sure, I think when I'm educating people, a lot of people will spend an hour on the treadmill 6 days a week thinking that, they're going to drop, weight, that is the main focus of their exercise. I also tell people that I feel like resistance and muscle building, because women are so afraid that they're going to bulk up and turn into men.
Exactly. I've been doing this for years, and people meet me in person. They're like, "Oh my God, I thought you were this bigger person,
right?
This
like,
tall, bigger
petite,
person."
But you are a muscle. That's all you are. I think is muscle. It's amazing.
Well,
beautiful.
I've kind of lost some as I've gotten older, and I don't work out as heavy as I used to.
It's a come and go thing.
But I'm still, people always think I'm younger than what I am.
Absolutely.
Because, I'm still working out.
Absolutely. It's great. See, this is what happens when you eat well and exercise. you can continue to be just beautiful and age very, very well. So if patients going back to the exercise for cardio versus weights and that they, choose to do a lot of cardio, women are not going to turn into men. That is the predominance of what I do now. And I've switched my theories. 10 years ago, I thought I had to do the treadmill or stair stepper, and I hated it.
And that's common with a lot of women.
Yes.
They just focus on losing the weight, and they don't think about what's happening to the muscle.
Exactly.
And as we age, the muscle is going to atrophy a little anyway. So, gosh, that's
well,
double whammy.
If you are not building it as you
Exactly.
as you go, then as age does kick in, and it does, but you have a lot more to lose at that point. You've got the benefits are falling off completely. So, if somebody is young, I explain to them to do muscle work, resistance, weights or whatnot early, because muscles have memory.
Yes.
So later, like you say, you're not working out as hard right now, but if you decided to do another competition or something, decided to work out, then you would be able to get that back
a lot faster than most people, because that's what I did for years.
Exactly. So your body remembers all the hard work you've put into it. So if somebody is older and gets sick, God forbid, COVID or something, they go into the hospital. They're, in a hospital bed for 10 days.
And that's where physical therapy
Oh,
comes
there
in.
you go. See, so you've got the whole, you got everybody
I've got
covered.
a whole plethora of
Yeah, well,
experience.
they'll lose muscle, especially the older you are, you'll lose muscle
Right.
really, really quickly. But again, if you have built it up before something like that happens, then
Yes,
you saved
and you've
yourself
got
a
to
lot of-
remember this is a whole nother subject too.
Right.
Muscles help the joints stay together.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't work the muscles, they're gonna weaken, and it's not gonna hold your joints together.
Right.
As well.
Right. So walking and falling and things like that.
Oh
that's
my
where you go to the
gosh.
walkers and no.
Balance,
Mm-hmm.
all that stuff. There's just so much.
So starting young and starting a weight, more of a weight training type program, not reducing your calories too far, and eating the right, foods and the mixture, and keeping it more about eating rather than just exercise, but putting enough exercise into
Yes.
it and all. And, do that off and on. Everybody gets busy and relaxes on it sometimes. I do too. And I had my...
we all do
We
it.
all do that. We
Yeah.
get busy. But, never stop completely. But,
Yes.
you build yourself a fantastic, body that will respond a lot better to illnesses.
Exactly.
So immune system now. Everybody's concerned about their immune system.
And that's a very good thing to talk about as well, because as a therapist, I've been doing home health all this time. I've been around COVID, sometimes work with patients, they didn't know they had COVID.
Right.
And suddenly the whole family has it, and we've been in there
And you've
doing
been in their
therapy.
house.
But I always wear my mask and gloves. And I think if my immune system wasn't so strong, and if I didn't work out and take my supplements,
Right.
I would have already had COVID.
Yep.
Seriously.
I believe
And I
that
think
as
that's
well.
something to write about, for me to write about,
Sure.
because how did I stay healthy all this time?
Yes.
I just had my first vaccine shot, because of course patients are now beginning
very
to feel
allergic.
uncomfortable to work with somebody who isn't vaccinated.
Right.
So, but I've been able to stay healthy throughout all this.
That's so helpful. All
Very
this,
healthy.
Arm yourself well. So, talk if you're giving advice to somebody about how to start a dieting program, or again a lifestyle change, for their foods, and how does somebody, how do you look at proteins, fats, and carbs, and how do you distribute it, in a meal or so? What is your advice to somebody in that regard?
Well, like I said, I
a big
first try to
question.
explain to them, no, that's okay, that, what your proteins do, fats, and they're not to be scared to eat, because food is your fuel.
Right.
I mean, you've got to have it to think, to move, to function every day.
You
So
need calories to burn calories for sure.
yes, exactly.
So do you have a distribution that you use? Like I usually tell patients kind of a 40-40-20, 40% protein, 40% fat, 20% carb, or what is your kind
Yes. And actually, it all depends on their goals. That's why I do a fitness evaluation, so that we can figure out where they're at and how much knowledge they have, or how we can start to teach them, how I can start to teach them on how to distribute the foods as far as proteins, carbs, and fats.
Right.
Because, say somebody's, because I work with models, and I've worked with Patty Mills of the Spurs and his
Sure.
wife, and so it depends on how fast they want to get there. I always tell people, if you want to lose weight faster, eat like maybe low carb with vegetables the first 2 days, the third day carb load with fruits, and keep eating fish, because fish, you'll get really lean with fish, and it's good for you, period. And salmon, add salmon in there because of the fat. But of course, I have the supplements to complement that as well.
Right.
Because it just complements each other. And I know some doctors don't believe in
And
taking
supplement them.
supplements.
My theory with supplements, honestly, is that
Did that answer your question?
yeah, we'll expand a little bit.
bit.
But on the supplement issue, back in the 70s, a cup of broccoli had, all the magnesium and things, that you would need for a day, and
Right.
a serving for what it provides. Now, that same, to get those same nutrients, you need 12 cups to equal what 1 cup was back then. Unfortunately, our
Yeah.
food is not as strong as it used to be in the supplement, in its nutrient
That's why you need
capabilities.
supplements in
And that
there.
now you have to use supplements. So I think the old idea, what we are taught in medical school, is that you don't need vitamins and the studies don't show. But I really think that we're in a whole different
I'm
world.
the
That was 20 years
perfect
ago, right?
example of the way I've lived my lifestyle.
Right.
I try to eat right. I have my days where I cheat.
Of course.
But,
You're human.
I've been supplementing to complement, and I've gotten off my supplements before when I've had people approach me to try their
Yes.
nutrition line or whatever it
Yes.
is, and it's amazing. I have cousins ask me, Skie, don't you hurt anywhere? At your age, and I'm like, no.
No?
You're kidding, because I hurt here, and there. You don't hurt at all. I'm like, no, I don't.
And that's wonderful.
But it's because I've been supplementing and eating right and working out.
Right.
It's my balance and my lifestyle.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha. So we will take a little break here briefly, and hopefully when we come back, we can talk a little bit about maybe 3 of your top supplements that you would recommend. Because not everybody's Patty Mills, not everybody's a model. So somebody
Right.
who's just out there
Or a
kind of getting
professional
started,
bodybuilder or
exactly.
whatever.
So yeah, there's plenty of people now who are just like, well, how do I get started? What do I do to get started? So we can talk about maybe the 3 top supplements somebody could get started on. And we'll be right back. Thank you. The term beauty is only skin deep takes a new meaning when you find a medical spa that works one-on-one with your individual needs in a safe, relaxing atmosphere. And with medical spa on every corner, why would Dolce Beauty and Laser be different? Owner Lisa Trinquier has designed the ultimate medical spa experience. Botox fillers, laser hair removal, facials, weight loss, body sculpting lasers, and infrared sauna and more, your body and anti-aging experience is waiting. Our injector specialist has greater than 10 years of experience, more than any other injector in San Antonio. And with me, Dr. Marianne Pinkston, as medical director, we provide the ultra-innovative experience. Go to dolcebl.com, that's DOLCEBL.com, and contact us for a free consult and 10% off your first service. Call 210-686-0505. We are located off I-10 on Camp Bullis Road in North San Antonio at 6865 Camp Bullis Road. Hi, I'm Dr. Marianne Pinkston here with Skie Molinar, and she is with me today, as you've been hearing. We've been talking about food choices, and she has an offer for everybody listening today. Tell us about that offer.
Okay, for those of you listening, you get a free 30-minute fitness evaluation consultation.
And so that is saying a lot. She works with patients one-on-one to try to help you with your health, nutrition, and losing weight. So take advantage of this. Go to drpbetterlife.com, and all of her information is there so you can take advantage. Hey, welcome back. I'm with Skie Molinar, and a great physical therapy assistant, but her passion is on training, personal training, and nutritional counseling. So we've been talking about that a little bit. And before we took the break, I mentioned that hopefully there are 3 good supplements maybe for somebody who's just getting started, something they can focus on to help get going.
Well, a good multivitamin, calcium supplement, and omega-3s.
Great. And so what are omega-3s? That's kind of an interest. Everybody knows calcium, everybody knows multivitamin, but why omegas?
Well, it's good for your skin and brain
Right.
as well.
Helps you think. So that
Yes,
we're not, yeah.
yes.
So it helps you think. And so I know that you also focus on, trying to help improve digestion for
Yes,
people. And so
absolutely,
there's something
because that's a
important to you, right?
major issue. I had a young lady who was 24 years old come to me for help. And as I started to do the fitness evaluation, I asked her, how often do you have a bowel movement? For those of you who don't know what a bowel movement is, it's how many times a day do you go to the bathroom?
How many times do you poop?
That's right. But anyway, she said once a week or once every 2 weeks. And when she said that, I almost fell out of my chair. I
Right.
said, oh my gosh, I need to get you on some enzymes. There's
Why is that dangerous? They're just once a week.
Well, it's very toxic to your body because your body has 3 ways of getting rid of toxins.
Yes.
It's through urine, feces,
Yes.
and sweat.
Yes, through your skin.
Yes,
That's how
those
you
are
get rid
the
of a lot of
three
toxins,
major
so-
things. Yeah,
exactly,
that's why
so-
exercise
Right.
to sweat, nutrition again,
Yes.
right, and
So
water.
the enzymes, how does that help?
The
And you provide
enzymes,
those, right?
yes,
That's
I
something you
sell
provide?
these enzymes that are amazing. I've been using them for years, along with DHEA for those of us who are aging gracefully,
Right. Yes.
and the hormonal issue, which
Yeah.
you know about.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the enzymes, there's protease, which helps you digest your proteins, and then there's a combination. It's called Proactazyme Plus, which has a combination to help you digest your fat, carbs, and protein also.
Right.
So these work together. Every time you eat, these help break down foods better, so you can, so your body can use it properly,
Exactly.
and even help you with the supplements you take.
Yes.
Like when you eat steak,
Right.
protease is perfect to be taking. It's an enzyme that helps you break
Right.
down that meat.
Yeah, and a
Yeah.
huge show that we could do too is on patients who take, or people who take the omeprazole or Nexiums or things like that for acid reflux medications. I hate
my
that because I don't feel like people
goodness.
are
Wow.
making enough stomach acid and absorbing them, their
Yes.
nutrients well, and so that would be a much better way to handle it than
Oh
to
my
do,
goodness,
so
it's like the
crazy a little
best.
bit.
You
Yeah.
know, I mean, look at this young lady. I mean, she was 24 years old, and,
Right.
and she struggled since she was a kid.
Yes.
Changed her nutrition plan, got her on the supplements
Right.
and the enzymes, and she started having a bowel movement every day, and her parents were so excited and everything, and she felt
Moms are just-
wonderful.
moms are always like, "Are you
Yeah.
pooping? Are you going regular?" So,
Oh my God, yeah.
moms focus on
And
that.
people don't
and
realize
over-
how important it is to digest your foods and
Absolutely.
get rid of the leftovers. Yeah.
'Cause your intestine is part of your immune system.
Oh my
so,
goodness.
Yeah. And that's
You're talking colon cancer and all this, because your colon is like an accordion. It expands
Mm-hmm.
and it comes back together when you digest all your foods, and it goes through the process. So a lot of stuff gets rotten
Right.
when your folds come back together.
Yes.
In between those folds
Right.
is where stuff hangs, and it gets rotten. So you've got to have some kind of enzymes to help you get rid of all that
along.
stuff.
So I'm
Yes.
giggling because that is the best visual I think you could have
Yeah,
given
an
anybody
accordion,
right
right?
now for it. No,
Yeah.
the rotting. That's why it caught
Yes.
me, because it's true. That's absolutely
gets
what happens.
putrid and-
Absolutely.
yeah.
And it's so yeah. And
Right.
if your husband, is frequent with the airing out the room and running people away, then maybe it's because he's not, he needs some digestive.
And
enzyme,
actually, the
but-
enzymes help with bloating
right, and all of
and
those.
all that. They're
So,
amazing.
That is great.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so I know people after hearing this will want to contact you, maybe for enzyme work or to get a fitness evaluation
Mm-hmm.
and work with you. So how do they get in touch with you?
Well, go to Sky's the Limit, not Sky's the Limit, but www.skiesfitness.com.
Gotcha. And that will be on my website.
Skiesfitness.com.
Yeah, and I will have all of your
And
links.
it's got my number in there and how to contact
Right.
me.
I love websites. You can just say that, and that's it. You go,
And
you
I've
find
got
all
a
your
YouTube
information.
channel, which
good.
I talk a lot about different things and blood pressure and how it works. If your blood pressure is high, what kind of exercise to do
Great.
and all
so
that.
do you have a link on your website for people
Yes,
to get to that? That's
for
great.
YouTube,
So go
yeah.
to her website. And that will be on my website. So drpbetterlife.com is where you can find me. And that's my links to all the podcasts, YouTube and iTunes and all. But I will list her information so you can find all those things. And it stays up once once somebody's on, it stays up. So you can always find it. So drpbetterlife.com. And if you with the supplements and whatnot, can people buy straight from your website, or do they need to come see you first, or?
They just need to order it through me.
Great.
They can either contact me because I don't carry the whole line or
Yeah,
at
it's very
home,
common.
but it's, I order as much as I need to for,
Right,
for
good,
each
good.
client.
Just so they'll know how to get in touch with you. So I so appreciate you coming on today. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about how you can find me. I am a family practitioner out in Northwest San Antonio off of Shanefield Road in 1604. I've been doing this for 22 years. You've been doing this a long time too, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And doing this for 22 years. And we'll give you a couple of ideas about ways to contact me. I want you to know I do take insurance. And I do also cash pay, so that and it's not that expensive. Patients are thinking, I don't have insurance, I can't go see a doctor. That is absolutely not the truth. I have great ways of saving you a lot of money, and it's sometimes better than insurance, honestly.
Well, that's wonderful.
It is. It's
nowadays.
wonderful. Yeah, because many don't. So 210-698-7825 is my office number. I do have a practice website, so PinkstonFamilyPracticeSA.com. And you can look up everything about the practice there, but drpbetterlife.com is where you can find Skie and all of her information too, and more about me as well, and all the shows. And I thank you for coming on, and I thank all of you for watching.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
So great to meet you.
As well. And I will see you guys next week.